a lovely introduction. Thank you for that, Katie. I know Katie through some of my talks I used to run in the past. She was one of the regular attendees, and we had endless conversations over alcoholic drink afterwards. I remember those. But are we good? Do I look present? Yeah, good. Okay. It's all about the image these days, isn't it? Right. So lovely to be here. As soon as I walked into the room, I knew I'm going to have a good time because of the energy of the room and the friendly faces everywhere I was looking. How many of you have heard me speak before? I'm really disappointed with that. It's like 10%. When I woke up today, I felt much more famous than that. It's been like, yes. So I have, my intention for tonight is very simple. I would like to inspire you with my story, but at the same time, I would like to give you some practical information that you could apply in your life or your business. And if I can entertain you a little bit in the meantime, I'll be like ice on the cake, Because you see, I'll be a rock star if not the fact that I can't sing. Actually, I can sing. I think I can sing when I'm drunk. It's the same with dancing. It's one of these things, I can't dance when I'm sober, but then when I had a couple of drinks, I'm like John Travolta, So you never want to go out dancing with me, I promise you. So let me start off with my story. I'm Polish, and I came to London in 2005 when I was 22. And not only I came here broke, but also came with a high-maintenance girlfriend at the time. So I wasn't just fucked, I was double fucked. Yeah, I was in serious trouble. There was high expectation of me making lots of money, and there was no money to begin with. And I remember we were so broke that we didn't take the plane, we took the bus. And don't ever try to do that, going to Poland by bus, because it's 27 hours of a journey. And it was full, packed with people and the bags and everything. So that was quite remarkable. And I remember I spent the first 3 weeks looking for a job, going to job centers. That didn't really work. Until someone gave me the advice, a tip to go to, print off CVs, the bunch of CVs, and go to look for a job. So that's what I did. And, I took the bus to Covent Garden. I started to go from one place to another. And all I was hearing was no. And the fact that I didn't speak English wasn't helping. But I was persistent, I had a bunch of CVs, because I told you that I came here broke, but I also came here fearless. I had no fear, I had a massive attitude. I still have even bigger attitude right now. So I didn't have money, but I have this deep knowing that I'm going to make it happen somehow. Didn't know how, but I just knew I'm going to make it happen, and I will take care of the how as I go along the journey. So eventually somebody said, yes, come for the interview. And I remember having this interview for this retail store. And the guy asked me, what are your plans for the future? How do you see yourself within the company? And I looked him straight in the eye and I said, I want your job as soon as possible. And he laughed. 9 months after I took over his position, he wasn't laughing anymore. So I had a very successful 5-year career in fashion retail. But it was a prime example of winning in the wrong game. Because one of the things I always say to my clients is that the fact that you're good at something, it doesn't mean that you're supposed to be doing it. Because if you are smart enough, if you're not dumb, you're going to be good at many things. But it doesn't matter, because you can be good working in the bank, but you might hate it. So I can't say I hated my retail career, but I didn't love it. So I was good at it because I'm ambitious, I was driven, and I was working my ass off. Polish people have their reputation for a reason, right? That's why we're taking over this country, by the way, just so you know. It's already second most used language in the UK, and soon it's going to be the first, I promise you that, I'll add a couple of kids myself, probably, So what I was saying, so 5 years in retail, and then a year after coming to London, I remember coming back home. So I was 23 at the time. I came back home, and my girlfriend, the high-maintenance girlfriend, she was still with me. I was doing well. Enough. I came home and there was this vision board with lots of different pictures on this vision board. It was like very girly pictures. There was like a pink car, I remember. There was an engagement ring, hint. And there was like a couple on the beach walking, I was like, honey, what's up with that? Yeah, I'm reading this book called The Secret. And they talk about vision boards. I'm like, it sounds a bit weird, but I also got curious. I was like, let me check it out. Sure enough, I ended up with my own vision board. There was no pink color there. But that was the first book within personal development I've read. And that's how my personal development journey has started. And I then realized that Secret, the 2006 bestseller called Secret, was actually based on 1937 bestseller called Think and Grow Rich. And actually, when I read Think and Grow Rich, I realized the secret only touches on the whole law of attraction thing, that there's much more to that. So basically, at the age of 23, I set myself on the personal development kind of path, or the journey of discovery. And by the time I was 27, when I realized I would like to become a life coach, I've already spent 4 years working on myself. So one of the frustrating things about my industry, life coaching, is that you often meet, and there might be some life coaches here, that you often meet life coaches and they're not really happy themselves. Or they're not really confident, and that they try to charge you to help you become more confident, more happy, and you don't really feel that they are happy. They're in a good place themselves. So I was quite opposite to that, because I was already doing well within myself. The only thing missing was the career I was passionate about. But when I discovered coaching on that Monday morning in June 2010, I remember exactly, because I had this aha moment, like something I've never experienced in my life. I had this very deep sense of knowing that this is exactly what I want to spend the rest of my life doing. And I say the rest of my life, but in the same time I'm open that, one day I might change my mind, which is fine. We want to be flexible with this kind of stuff. But at that moment, I felt very strongly that this is the career for me. And just like with retail, I always knew I'm not going to spend the rest of my life there. With coaching, it was just so strong. I was watching one of Anthony Robbins' videos, and it was just like, it wasn't about anything that he said. It was just seeing him on the stage, helping people. And I was like, fuck, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. So sure enough, within 1 month, I had the first paying client. I remember, I was charging £20 an hour at the time. And this client, she was traveling 2 hours one way to see me on a Sunday. I was so impressed with her. Because I used to live in Southeast London. She was coming all the way from Heathrow area. 2 hours on a Sunday one way. I was like, wow, this guy's serious. So, and then what happened was I thought about, training. Should I do the training or not? And I felt that probably I don't need the training, because I already spent 4 years working on myself. So I knew the theory. And also when I discovered coaching, I felt like I've discovered my natural talent. Like I said to you, there's no talent to dance, no talent to sing. But I felt that I can coach, and I don't need training to actually help me do that. But then I still went for like a coaching academy. Does this free weekend course. So you go there. Oh, two people have been there. Whole the room been there. So actually I went there just to confirm that I don't need the training. So I don't have a formal training as a coach. And but it's pretty much the same thing. What I've discovered later, that the highest level coaches, I'm not saying I'm the highest level right now, I'm getting there, don't have a formal training. They discover it, they work on themselves, and then ultimately you can become a good coach only by coaching people. The same with being a good lawyer and good doctor, for the experience. So it's been 4 years. I had lots of experience working with around 300 people right now. In addition to working with people one-to-one, which is the main thing for me, which is something I enjoy the most, I've spoken at over 200 events. There was a period when I was running up to 6 talks a week. So I was like a crazy person. I have 3 meetup groups. If you type in my name in a meetup, you will see my 3 groups. Now my associates are running their events through these groups, but there was the period, like I said, up to 6 talks a week. I was like, there's just no stopping me. And I remember coming back home. There was a different girlfriend at the time, not so high maintenance, so I made progress there as well. And I would be coming back home and after a whole day, coaching people, running talks, coming back home at 11 o'clock. And the first thing I was thinking about doing was going on a computer and following up on emails. I was just relentless. I'm still relentless, but when you watch me working right now, when you look at my lifestyle now, it's much more relaxed than it used to be. The biggest sacrifice I've made on that journey, for a year, I wasn't dating. And those who know me well know that that's a big sacrifice for me. Because I went from like dating hundreds of people, I'm exaggerating, but like lots of people, 100 in my head anyway, I went from dating lots of people to not dating anyone for a year, because I knew that this is distraction for me. For lots of men, women are distractions. So I was like, okay, if I want to achieve what I need to achieve in my business, if I want to get to the certain level, the level I want to get to, I'm going to do whatever it takes. So the sacrifice will mean different things for different people, right? I recognize that the whole dating is what takes my attention away from working the most. So I cut it for a year. I'm back now, by the way. Yeah. Like I said, I'm relaxed more, I'm in a place where I can relax a little bit more. So, like I said to you, I started charging £20 an hour, and as my confidence was growing, every 6 months, around 6 months, I was putting my fees up. Right now, I'm one of the highest paid coaches in the UK, to my knowledge, and I'm getting towards the level where in the next few years I'll be the highest paid coach in the UK. Now, what it means to me is not, because I will talk about it later, is, you know, I can tell you now, it's like I like money, but I don't do what I do for money. Yeah, there was this research done in States that said that showed that the money makes a difference in the happiness level only up to $80,000 a year. Once you reach this level, it doesn't make much of a difference. And I can tell you, because to my experience, only people that have never made serious money think that money gives happiness. It does make a difference until up to around 80K a year. It doesn't, because I can tell you now how I felt a year ago and how I feel now. I make much more money now than I did a year ago. Yes, my life is better. The quality of my life is better. I'm much more comfortable doing things, but I'm not happy than I was. I'm as happy as I was, you know. So don't ever think that, especially men, the bankers that I work with, you know, they can be 45, 50, they come to me and say, Michael, I spend my whole life chasing the money, neglecting everything else, my health, my fitness level, my diet, relationships, and I got the money and I'm not happy. I said, okay, because nobody told you that it's not about money. Because the biggest reward for me as a coach is to take someone from being 4 or 5 out of 10 on the happiness level, because we measure that, to 7, 8, 9, 10. That's the biggest reward. To do that in 6 sessions, it feels like magic. It doesn't feel like magic to me, because if you do it over and over again, it's like, okay, another day in the office, somebody's life has just been transformed. But for people that go through this process with me, it's like, shit, how did that happen? And it's so simple. What I do with them is so simple, yet so effective. So that's the biggest reward for me. That's what makes me get up in the morning and be like, shit, you know, I have a great life. It's not the money. Because even before coming to London, I was making money in Poland before I got broke when I was 22. I had 2 businesses. They were both making money. And there were periods, like I said, when I came to London, broke, no money. And it's not about the money. So don't ever chase money. If some of you think about, you know, that's what's going to make me happier. So where I am in my business right now, I'm in the process of writing my second book. The first one is here. The first one is called From Good to Amazing, which is basically what I do with my clients, the process, the journey I take them on. Because people I work with, they're already doing okay. So the people I work with are either successful or they firmly decided to become successful. I don't work with losers. I don't work with complainers. People that say, oh, you know, it's the economy, it's this and that. I have no interest in that. I respect you as a human being. I love you. I wish you all the best, but I don't want to spend my time with you. But if you firmly decided, I want to change my life, I want to get to another level of success, I want to become successful in another area, I'm your guy. So the subtitle is No Bullshit Tips for the Life You Always Wanted. The no bullshit thing is something that you will see in everything. If you look at my website, there's no bullshit. If you look at my business card, we were talking about it with my friend Monica, there's no bullshit. Everything is just what you see is what you get, straight to the point. What I find is that for me to transform someone's life within 6 weeks, we need to cut all the bullshit from the conversation. There's no other way. Otherwise, I'm going to need months. So, Michael, how can you do it in six sessions? Just see. Just trust the process. We remove all the bullshit. And what I mean by that is, you know, we masters in bullshitting ourselves. I am myself. I need to catch myself. I have my coach as well, and my friend. It's funny because you work with someone, you show them a couple of things, and then they use it against you. So the other day I had an artist, my best friend, and the other day I had a little bit of a weak moment, you know. And he said to me, Michael, shut the fuck up and get on with your work. And I was like, I can't believe this. I created a monster. So the second book is called Love Everyone, Take Shit From No One, The Art of Social Dynamics. And I don't know how many of you have read or heard about how to make friends and influence people. Yes, I love that book, but it's written in a very archaic language, if you remember. It's written, I think, in 30s or 40s, last century. So my second book is kind of my take on this whole subject of social dynamics. So that's going to be out in September. And the book, because I'm planning to write a book a year, The book next year is going to be about female psychology. So it's for guys, because that's something I spent lots of time on researching for myself in the past. So I know it's for guys, but I know every woman that knows me, every female friend, will be like, let me read this so I can point out the things I disagree with. So I know the market is wide. So it's going to be men and women reading this book. So that's books. I told you about events. So I don't really run my own events anymore. I'm a little bit of a diva now. I'm waiting for people to invite me, you know what I'm saying? You know, I can save time on organizing stuff. It's just so much nicer, you know, someone introduces you and it's just you just show up and you just speak. The most exciting thing in my business right now, apart from working with exciting clients, which is always the most important part of my business, is I'm in the process of shooting a pilot of a TV show. So basically what happened was I've partnered with a very senior TV director, a guy who spent his whole career from all the way from 70s creating, directing TV programs for ITV. And he happened to be a new boyfriend of my close friends. So that there's a very strong kind of like a personal connection there, which is great. And I had this, I remember, you know, hanging the laundry back in September, and I had this aha moment. It was like around midnight. I was like, shit, I need to do a TV program. And I started to think about this, and I had this whole idea of basically running my signature 6-week transformation program in front of the camera and having the camera crew following the client between sessions. Something similar to what Go Kwan does for styling and Gordon Ramsay does for restaurants. Yeah, so the same thing, but for life coaching. Nothing like that has been done, ever. Not in the UK anyway, exactly in this format. So I had this idea, I was like, wow, okay. I called my PR agency the next day, and they were like, wow, this is a great idea. But let's work on raising your profile slowly, get you more in the press and the radio, and then we're going to approach a TV channel with such a big project. And I said, yeah, sure, you know. So I was passionate about it, but it kind of made sense that I'm not ready for it quite yet. Universe had different plans. Because Universe made me have a conversation with the director, with this guy I was telling you about, and he was like, I love it, let's do it. You're going to be the creator, I'm going to be the producer. So 2 weeks after having an idea. So now, here's the point. I'm going to sidetrack a little bit. Here's the point. You want to set the intention. If something crosses your mind, an idea, set the firm intention. Like, I want to do it. Because here's the setup. The universe says, you plant the seed, I will take care of the rest. But you have to plant the bloody seed. It's like this joke about this homeless guy, like, I want to win the lottery, I want to win the lottery. And the God says, send the bloody ticket. Like, buy the bloody ticket, so then maybe I can help you. So planting the seed. So I had this idea, and I believed I can do it. And the timing is another thing. But we don't need to worry about the timing, because the right things will come. I know I sound a little bit like a cult leader right now, that, you know, the universe and stuff. I'm a spiritual person, I'm not religious. I believe that there's something bigger than ourselves, and that thing that makes the heart beat for the first time. Because science still can't answer the question, what makes the heart beat for the first time? So that's the source I'm talking about, which I feel in my life all the time, through the people and circumstances that are taking place. People I meet and circumstances that are taking place. So that felt like that, because going from an idea to somebody this senior saying, I love this, I love you, I want to do it with you, I was like, shit. He said, okay, the only problem I see is that, you know, it's not going to be easy to find the person to do it with. I mean, who would want a camera crew following them to the workplace, to the house, and you know, recording this whole thing? And I was like, you know what, I think I got it. I think I got it. Sure enough, big network, I went home, I put it on Facebook. Within 48 hours, I had over 20 people willing to do it with me. So I got bombarded by friends and friends of my friends who wanted to do this. So I shortlisted the candidates. I got 8 profiles. I had a meeting with the producer. We went through the profiles. None of the people were quite ideal for the project. So he got very specific about what would be the ideal candidate for the client for this process. And then it took me 5 months. I found the perfect girl. And now we are in the process of actually shooting it. They've interviewed me. They've interviewed her. And now, most likely, not this Monday coming, but the following Monday, we will actually have the first session recorded, and then they will start to follow her. And once we have the pilot, we're going to present it to ITV commissioners where his contacts are. And if they're going to commission it, you'll see my face all over TV, which that's the plan, you know. So I have 2 goals when it comes to my business, and I always had these 2 goals. I always had the first one, not the second one. So the first one was, and this is something I've always had in me from a young age. I don't know where it came from. My parents are not like that. My siblings are not like that. I didn't have any friends like that until maybe age of 17, 18. I always knew that I wanted to be the best at something. So there was only one thing that I was really, really passionate about before coaching, and that was playing trumpet, because I love jazz. I went to music school, I was playing trumpet. That didn't work out. You can read in my book why it didn't work out. I can tell you it was something to do with how my muscles are built. So I couldn't be the best. So I was like, okay, they said, you can still be average. I said, I can't be average. You know, if I can't be the best, I'm gonna quit. So I quit trumpet. Very heartbreaking experience for me. You know, I'm describing this whole story in my book. So when I was 17. But when you see, I was talking about the universe and that everything happens for a reason. When I discovered coaching and when I started to coach, I understood why I couldn't play trumpet. Because the plan was to impact many people through trumpet. But now think how many people I can impact as a life coach, or as a speaker, or as a personal development author, right? It's a much bigger audience and it's a very different level of impacting, right? And the thing is that we can only judge the experience from the future. Yeah, so when the shit happens, have the trust that the shit happens for a reason, that everything happens for a reason. But we can only judge it from the experience, the experience from the future. So now I can look back and say, okay, that's why I couldn't play trumpet. By the time that happened, I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do with my life? It was a disaster. It was like a girlfriend breaking up with me, just 10 times worse. Because, you know, this is the one thing that you wanna do and then you realize you can't. I mean, you can't to the extent where you can be the best. So there was this very, very deep understanding that I wanted to be great at something. So my goal, of course, now being a life coach, I know I'm doing very well. I know I'm like at least top 5% in the world, maybe 3%. But do you think I'm satisfied with top 5% or 3%? What I'm interested in is 0.01%. And I said the highest paid. Now, and I said it's not about money. Now, to be the highest paid, you got to be very good, right? Because people are not stupid. They're not going to pay me because I profile myself so well. So I know I need to work on my craft. I need to become better and better coach. But at the same time, I need to work on my profile. And this is something I'll be talking about in kind of business part. It's not enough to be good at what you do. It's nowhere near enough to be good at what you do. It's how you market yourself, how you position yourself in the market. So that's my business. That's my story of becoming a coach. And what I would like to share with you now is, working with successful people, on helping people become successful, and then, working on my own business. I don't want to say what I discovered, because I'm not going to tell you something that's like, wow, he's a genius. Like, I never thought about it. What I realized is that success is about three things. And I want to talk to you about these three things, expand on it a little bit, and then, for maybe 10 minutes. And then I will open this space for your questions. So I won't be talking for too long, okay? So what are the three elements of successful business or success in anything? Number one is passion. So think about it as a triangle. And there's a passion here on the top. Now, especially when you work for yourself, if you're not passionate about what you do, you have no chance. Because there's a lot of people that are passionate about in your industry that fail because they don't tick another two boxes. You have to be passionate about what you do. Because if you're not passionate about your job, I wasn't passionate about my retail job, I was still good at it because there was like, okay, schedule has been done, I have to go, there's a boss, I need a paycheck, and there's like, it's much easier to go to work knowing that you're not working for yourself. But when you have to organize your own time, when you're responsible for sales, marketing, and all of this stuff, if you don't love what you do, you will seriously struggle. Especially when you encounter first obstacles. And if you think my journey of becoming a coach was just like this, people think that success is like this, like a one straight line, but actually it's more like this. You go back, step backwards, 2 steps forwards, 4 steps backwards. I started my coaching business being £5,000 in debt. I started with no money. Because yes, I was making money in retail, but the thing about me is I've always been very good at making money. The problem is I was always very good at spending money as well. I can spend any amount of money. If you have like too much money, I'm the guy to talk to. I will spend it all. There's no problem with that. So 5K in debt, and who's starting the business with being 5K in debt? without parents that you can call, because my parents, and they're great, but they don't have money. Without parents you can call, without any friends with money at the time. So it's like 5K in debt and living with a girlfriend who was not making any money. It's like shit. But being in retail, waiting for the right moment to transition, and this is a classic example of why we shouldn't wait for the right moment. Why? Because there's never such thing like a right moment, like a perfect moment. Because I was like, okay, I'm coaching part-time, £20 an hour. The plan is to save up enough so I can quit my retail job and take coaching full-time. And I was waiting 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, being a spender. I wasn't saving anything. And the universe went, okay, let's cut the bullshit. Let me make you redundant. Again, looking back from the future, one of the best things that happened to me. So those of you that got redundant, don't worry about anything. Maybe it happened for a reason, right? So I got redundant and I found myself in a position that I need to make money. So I pushed the hell out of my coaching practice. And I remember I said to my girlfriend at the time, I said it was beginning of October when I took coaching full time and stopped applying for retail jobs. I was like, I'm gonna make it happen. I have to make it happen. It was on one side, it was a strong desire, two strongest motivations to do anything. Either strong desire or pain if you're not gonna make it. So for me, I was fortunate enough to have both of them combined. The desire to make it happen and the pain related to not making it happen, which means not having food, not having money for the rent. So very strong motivation within me. And I remember saying to her, I said, listen, I'm gonna have 20 clients, 20 paying clients, £20 an hour, but 20 of them by the end of the year. And that was beginning of October, and I had one client. And on the wall, I placed 20 stickers, like a small sticker, sticky notes. They were empty, and I was putting initials of my clients. So it started with one. And every time I would get a new client, I would put another initial. Guess how many people I got by the end of the year? 20 exactly. I kid you not. And now, those of you say, universe, that's airy-fairy, that's bullshit, it's all about science. How can you scientifically explain that? I said I'm gonna make 20, and I made 20. Not 19, not 21. Because this stuff happens to me all the time and freaks me out all the time. It's like, what the hell? Who's looking? Where are you? So 20 clients. And then October, November, December, in January, I've made 3K from coaching one-to-one and my events. And I've never went beyond that since. And now, my best month, I made £21,000 from coaching one-to-one. So, but very, very humble beginnings. Working my ass off, working with people I shouldn't work with. Because now when I run workshops for coaches, I say, listen, don't work with people you don't want to work with unless you're just starting. Because when you're starting, you usually need money and you definitely need experience. Because this very few, but still pain in the ass clients I've worked with in the past make me really appreciate these amazing, wonderful human beings I work with right now. That don't give me any headache, and they become friends and, they do amazing things for me if I ask them to. So I went through all of that, and so the passion, the thread in all of this hustling, it was just, I love what I do, I love what I do, I love what I do, I love people, I want to help people. But at the same time, I love business. I'll talk about it later, it's just, you need to love the business as well to make it happen. So being passionate. Also, another benefit of being passionate about what you do, if you are passionate about what you do, or at least enthusiastic about what you do, other people will be much more likely to help you. Yeah, because nobody wants to help someone. It's like, what do you do? Yeah, I'm a coach. It's like, do you need any help? Yeah. It's like, fucking hell, like, I wanna help you, but just show me that you give a shit. One of my principles when it comes to coaching clients is like, listen, I'm gonna care about you and your goals, but my principle is I will never care about you and your goals more than you care about them yourself. Because I've done it in the past, and I was like, hold on a minute, this is crazy. Like, I give a shit more than you do, not you. It's like, this is not right. And yes, you pay me, but like, this is your life. So the principle is like, yeah, you gotta want it. And the more you want it, you see, what happens is when you want something really, really badly and you're enthusiastic about it, people will try to help you. I will, at least. If nobody else, just come to me. I will help you. But like, show me the love for what you do. And now some of you might think, okay, but how to find something I'm passionate about? Some of you might be doing something that you're passionate about already. And I have to say, this is a gift. Like, I've never fell in love from the first sight, but this is like falling in love from the first sight. It was just a career path. So I know it's very unusual to feel something so strong, to feel so strongly about something, but I know it's possible. Now, the way you can create more of these opportunities for yourself, start hanging out with people you don't know. Start making new friends. Instead of turning right on your way home from the station, turn left. Go to websites other than Facebook and Twitter, explore different websites. Yeah? Read the book you wouldn't normally read, because that can take your mind into a different direction and you can find something there. Don't just sit and wait for something to happen. It's like when I work with people on dating, when I meet someone, it's like, what do you do about your dating life? Well, nothing. So I guess nothing's going to happen. Unless Tesco delivery guy is very attractive and you're going to fall in love with the Tesco delivery guy who comes to your place. At least leave the bloody house. Especially when you're a woman, a guy can approach you on the street, you know. Maybe even me. So being passionate. Being passionate. You see, and this is one thing that is very difficult to coach someone on. Because if you come to me and say, make me more passionate, I'm like, I don't know how. I don't. It's like you coming to me and say, make me love my wife. I say, I can't. Yeah? Or my husband. I can't. This is certain things I can't do. And if I can't, I tell you. Yeah? But people that come to me, they're usually either passionate about something already, or they're really passionate about something. Or if they don't know what to do, they're passionate about finding out what to do. If you see what I mean. And then we can work with that. So that's the first element of the triangle. Now the second is something I called hustle muscle. And now what I mean by that, to use a technical terminology, what I'm talking about is to work in your ass off. So that's a technical term. You know, it's just to work your ass off, because it's not going to happen by itself. And when you look at guys like Steve Jobs, Richard Branson, Alan Sugar, you know, they're very successful. And especially when you look at Richard Branson, he's like, Mr. like, I'm cooler than ice cubes. But when you read his autobiography, which I recommend you do, this man just worked a lot. Now he's relaxing. You know, he was working like crazy. You know, and it's very easy like to look at my Facebook pictures, be like, you know, Saturday night, chilling out, like Sunday beers, like this guy's just, but what you don't see is what happens between those pictures. You know, it's work, work, work. It's obsession with my business. It's obsession with achieving my goal, the first goal, which is becoming #1 life coach in the UK. For everybody to think about life coaching, to associate it immediately with my name. So that's the goal. The second being bringing life coaches to the awareness of a general public, which is not there right now. So that's why the TV show can be so helpful. Because I believe that if people can see what I do or what coaches do, when they can see the whole process, see how simple it is and how effective it is, it will lead to many more people hiring coaches. So the whole industry will change. So I'm going to lead this change. And you can hold me accountable to that. So passion, hustle, muscle. You know, I promise you, every time you think you work hard, there's another level. Every time you think you work hard, I will show you somebody in your industry working even harder. And now, if you're comfortable, if you make enough money, like I said, I'm quite comfortable now, so I can kind of relax a little bit. But if you're not comfortable yet, if you're not at that stage yet, and you say, oh, because of this, and when people say, oh, nobody's hiring coaches, I'm like, really? Like, I have one person a day contacting me for coaching. So what does it mean? There is a demand. You just don't position yourself well enough, so people don't reach you. And I don't care, especially in a place like London. When you go to Poland, this might be a different story. That's why I'm not there, I'm here. Whatever industry you're in, this is the place where you'll find at least 1,000 people interested in what you do. And you can build your whole business, your whole life, throughout the whole life with 1,000 clients. So it doesn't matter how niche your business is or your business idea is. This is the place to make it happen. Especially now they say the economy going up. I never felt the recession in the first place, I have to say. Being in retail, I always believe that if you're really good at what you do not need to worry about recession. Because there always be need for at least one life coach and one retail manager. So I'm just going to position myself as being the one who survives. And then the third element, And like I said with passion, when people come to me and say, can you make me more passionate? The answer is no. Can you make me hardworking? Well, to a degree. If you are lazy, well, if you're really lazy, I don't want to work with you. If you're just a little bit lazy, I can kick your ass a little bit, so you can change the gears a little bit. But ultimately, when you come to me, I want you to be enthusiastic about what you do, passionate about what you do, your idea that you have. And I want you to be prepared to work hard, because nothing's going to happen unless you're going to work hard between sessions. I can drop all the concepts, all theories, all the ideas on you, but ultimately they're all absolutely freaking worthless. All the ideas are worthless. It's all about implementation. So I say in the introduction to this book, I say, listen, what I'm going to do with you here in this book, I'm going to share my top ideas from different areas of personal development. But here is the thing, they're all worthless unless you apply them. And most of you won't apply them. So call me, I will help you. That's basically what it is. It's like, oh, this is a great idea. There's lots of great ideas, lots of great ideas in personal development books. I get people coming for coaching, for a consultation sometimes, and I feel like they've read more books on personal development than me. I haven't read many books. I'm a slow reader. I've realized the other day, this is a bit crazy, I've realized it takes me less to write a book than to read the book. This is what I call slow reading. Like there's this one book I'm reading right now by Donald Trump and Robert Kiyosaki. Jesus, it's such a nice book. It's taken me 2 months. My attention span is not there. It's like, what I was saying, hustle muscle, working hard. I can't make someone who's lazy to be hardworking, But if you find the right thing, if you set yourself on fire, if some idea, some business idea will really turn you on, the hard work should come with it. Because one thing I've discovered about human beings, including myself, is that no one I've met is either completely lazy or completely hardworking. It's all about what we do. Like I've never had a male client saying, Michael, yes, I would have more sex with my girlfriend, but I just can't be bothered, Why men are never lazy about sex? And are people lazy about doing certain things, going to the gym? Because it's not about whether you're lazy or hardworking, it's about the area. There are some areas I'm very lazy around or about. But the ones that I recognize are important for my business, even though I'm lazy about them, like going to the gym, for example, I will make myself go regardless. Yeah? So I said to myself, okay, to kind of look in a certain way, I need to go to the gym 3 times a week, and I don't like it. But I don't ask myself every Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning whether or not I want to go to the gym. Because if I did, the answer would be always no. So I'm not asking myself, I'm just going. So don't ever rely on willpower. Recognize what's important for your happiness or your business. Make it a list if you can forget it. And just stick to it. Make it a habit. Don't be like, yeah, I will do it when I feel like it. The same with writing books. I absolutely hate writing books. I hate it. I would do anything else. I would go to the gym, squatting for an hour, then spend an hour writing books. And I hate squatting. Yeah? But I thought, this is my goal, my 2 goals. I think writing books will help me get there. I'm going to do it. So the first book I've written in a month, painful 2 hours every day. And this one, the second one I'm writing, is like, oh my God, every day there's a battle within me. Oh my God, write it. No, don't write it. You have time. Don't worry. It's September. You still have time. Write it. Don't write. It's an inner civil war. Sometimes I win, sometimes I lose. And now you take this book, you read this book, you're like, I think he was enjoying himself writing it. No, I didn't, just so you know. Because it's a very conversational style, very easy to read, some jokes. It's like, okay, I'm going to be funny right now. It's like, okay, this is funny. No, it's not. It's very easy to look at the end product and think, oh, this guy is just like fun and just relaxed and he loves writing, he loves posting stuff on Facebook, or that he loves it. Well, certain things I love, certain things I don't. But I do them anyway because it's the goal I'm after. And I said to my PR agency, I will do anything to get where I need to get to, except for sleeping with a man. That's when I draw the line. So you want to recognize what are your limits, how far you can go. So for me, everything except for that, I can do it. And then the third element, and this is where the coaching, whether it's a business coaching or life coaching, is the most useful. So the third element is the strategy. Yeah, because there's lots of people who are passionate about what they do, and I'm sure you know at least one person like that. They're passionate about what they do or what they want to do. They're hardworking. They don't have a fucking clue how to do it. Yeah, and if they're smart enough, they'll get the mentors. You know, all of my associates, I've met all of my associates by them, young guys, driven. Email, hi Michael, you know, I see you doing well as a coach. I'm entering the industry. Can I buy you a lunch? Can I buy you a coffee? And obviously, when I read that, I realize I'm smart enough to know that probably I'm not the only person they wrote it to. But it's like, okay, if they approach me in the right way, I always say yes. If you approach me in the right way about anything, I will probably say yes. So that's how I've met them. And you know, I've met many of them. The ones I like the most, the ones, the attitudes of I like the most became my associates. So now they work with people that I don't want to work with, or they can't afford working with me personally. So we can access, we can impact even more people. And in the same time, I mentor them, I help them with their businesses, which is great. So it works, it's a win-win-win. Everybody leaves the party with a balloon in this scenario. So it's the strategy. Because the fact that you have a goal, you have a passion, and you're prepared to work hard, you still need to know what to do. And that's when coaching is the most useful. To get someone who has what you have already. Because it's very simple. And we talked a lot about it with Arthur, because he's a very driven network marketer. And you know, they say that in his company, they say that a lot. It's like, do what he does, do what the guy who has what you want has, and you're going to have the same thing. It's as simple as that. It's called modeling. You model yourself on someone who's already succeeding in your field. It doesn't have to be, and it's important because, for example, if from the beginning I was modeling myself on Tony Robbins, who's a top life coach charging $1 million for 12 sessions, and only the first one is face-to-face, the rest is on Skype. So that's pretty expensive coach, you know? $1 million for that. If I was modeling myself on him, it's like there's too much of a gap. Even now, it's too much of a gap between me and him. So I would always look for the guy in front of me. And there were many coaches in front of me that are now behind me. Because I would look at them, it's like, I'm happy for you, but you're going down. I'm taking over. It's just a matter of time. And there was this one guy, I'm not going to give you his, not going to tell you his name because you might know him. He's a very, very good coach based in London. I love this guy. But he was like, when I started, he was two years ahead of me, and he was making so much money. And I was like, oh my God, can I ever catch this guy? And then sure enough, I asked him January this year how much he's made, what was his turnover last year. And I found out that I've actually made more, and I was like, okay, that's one ticked. Who is next? You know, who's the next coach that's going down? Kind of down, you know what I mean? Not literally, most of the time anyway. So it's the strategy. Yeah, in business, get a business mentor, or get a coach who, like, you know, I work with life coaches often because obviously I understand the business of life coaching. And then I can work with a personal trainer, hypnotherapist, I can work with an NLP practitioner because it's a similar business model. If you come to me saying that I want to open a retail operation and can you coach me on that, I would say, I would love to, but I can't. Because what do I know about, you know, I used to work in retail, but as a manager, I didn't open any retail store. So in this case, like, who could you work with? What coach or mentor has experience of retail? And then you talk to them, and maybe you need to send one email, second email, third email, fourth email, fifth email. I don't get offended when people are persistent. I'm like, shit, they really care. They say that Anthony Robbins, even though he charges, I don't know if it's true, but that's what I heard. I've heard that even though he charges $1 million to work with him for a year, you can't just call him and say, listen, I want to work with you. Because he will say, I don't have time. You need to call 2 or 3 times for him to realize that you're really committed. Yeah, so I'm thinking about maybe introducing that to my business at some point. It's like, no, sorry. And see who's going to be like, please, can I work with you? Okay. You know, but that's not anytime soon, don't worry. Guys, so the last thing I want to talk about is the big mistake I see lots of people in business doing. It's a very obvious mistake as well. They're in business, but they don't think and act like business people. And especially coaches, especially people in this helping people industries. So yoga teachers, coaches, spiritual coaches, that's the worst. Because it's like peace and love, then I'm broke. you know? Like, yes, peace and love, but you charge what you're worth, you know? And I remember working with this lovely, and I still work with her, this lovely yoga teacher in States. And we do our exercise, our scores out of 10, and everything is fine. Happiness was 8 out of 10. I was like, shit. I was thinking to myself, how far I can take out of 10, you know? We took it up to 10 out of 10, by the way, just so you know. And everything was high except for finances, which was 0. So her problem was that she was only making $300-400 a week, and she wanted to make $1,000 a week. And everything was there. She was amazing. She was good in what she was doing. She had lots of experience. She had her studio. She had everything. She had a husband who was a life coach, by the way. She knew lots of these American coaches, but she still chosen to work with me for whatever reason. I still don't understand 100% over Skype. And I remember one of the first things I said to her, I said, listen, you need to stop thinking like a Mother Teresa and think like a business person. And she was like, oh my God. And it's like, it was just this reality check. I said, listen, you are in business. I don't care what you sell. You happen to sell yoga training. I happen to sell coaching, but this is business, this is selling. We need to sell. So sure enough, over 6 weeks, she went from $300-400 a week to $700-800. So not quite 1,000 a week, but she was very happy with 7 to 8. And all it took is to work on the strategy, because the passion was there, the hard work was there. She was prepared to work hard. She just didn't know exactly what to do. And even before that, she needed someone to give her permission and to say, listen, it's okay to charge money for what you do. And I had to go through this in my own head. Like, for me, it's like, how am I going to ask someone for £100 per hour? Right now, I wouldn't work with someone for £100 an hour because it's nowhere near enough of what I think my coaching is worth. And obviously, your mindset is stretching as you progress in your career. And one day, I remember dreaming about charging £100 an hour. And then today, I look at £100 and feel like, that's what my associates charge. And I'm thinking that they should put it up soon as well because of the enormous value that we offer to people. Not just saying just us because we are so awesome. We are awesome, but it's not that. Coaches in general. So whatever your industry is, you know, this is whatever number you come up with. This is the number. It's for you to decide what your service is worth, not the client. Especially when you offer something so, you know, if you're a cleaner, it's pretty tangible. But if you're a coach, your client has no idea how much value you can offer. Only you know that. So I appreciate that when I make like a massive proposal to like a big client, they're like, oh shit, Michael, are you serious? I say, yeah. Without blink of the eye. Says, I appreciate you don't understand the value I'm going to offer you. I am. That's why I'm charging you this much. But here's the thing. If I don't deliver, I'll give you your money back. That's how confident I am about what I do. So you got to think like a business person. Like a businessman or businesswoman. You know, cut the bullshit of, oh, but I just want to... When I hear the coach especially say, I just want to help people, I know he or she's going to fail. Because it's not enough to want to help people in whatever you do. Because you need the money coming in, otherwise you can't do what you want to do, you need to get a job to pay the rent. Unless you inherited money and you don't need to worry about money, then you can work for free. But another thing is people will appreciate much more what you do if they pay you. That's why I don't give free coaching, I don't give free advice. Like if you want to advise, you're going to pay for it and you're going to pay a lot. And if you don't want to pay, that's fine, we don't need to work together. And because only when you pay, and the same when I pay for services, like the more you pay, it's like, okay, yeah. I want my client to feel, if they don't follow through on what we discuss, I want them to feel like they're losing money, they're wasting money. I want them to feel like, oh my God, I can't believe I spent all this money, I haven't done anything, you know, to just give them even additional motivation to work hard. Okay guys, I hope that what I was talking about was useful, and I'll be delighted to answer some of your questions if you have any, please. There's one. Oh, there's 2, 3. Go on, John.
What was the biggest wow moment or realization you got from one of your coaches?
Okay, being coached. Well, the nicest thing, I'm not sure if I'm answering the question, the nicest thing, my coach, her name is Michelle, the nicest thing she said to me, which was kind of confirming what I felt already, she said, Michael, I've worked with lots of very successful people in my life, but I've never met someone with such a high level of self-belief. You know, that she said, I have a remarkable level of self-belief. And I'm not perfect, that's not what I'm trying to say. There's things I'm working on, learning still. But I know the belief is there. And I know with this belief, when people say, okay, you have the goal of becoming the top coach in the UK, what about people that are more talented than you? And I say, I appreciate there might be coaches that are more talented than me, like pure coaching talent. But guess what? If I have to, if that's the case, I'm gonna outwork them. I'm gonna work when they sleep. I'm gonna work when they go on holidays, because I just don't care. So, you know, what I get from my coach, and this is what I offer to my clients often, people that are already in a good place, it's like a mirror. It's like she confirms what I already think, and you know, I can run ideas through her. We don't do any serious coaching right now. There's not really much to coach me on, yeah, from like a life coaching perspective. So it's like I use her like a mirror, and she's a very, very good mirror. She takes no bullshit. I love her. Did I answer your question?
Yeah.